Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates, and for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right? I'll holla. Peace. Yo! Should old acquaintant Negroes got a space and food for mine? It's New Year's Eve and I am broke. Please give me your money and time. Your money and time, my dear. Your money and your time. I'll take a cup of coins, yes, but prefer Cash App, Venmo, and whatever rhymes with 9. What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of Random Topic Sundays, the hottest live stream in social media, in this social media world, and the last day of 2023. And 2023, ladies and gentlemen, has been a very, very productive year for yours truly. It has been a very interesting year. So we await what 2024 holds for us. I'm your host with your most, gboot2786, aka Gavin Richard, aka G Rich as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you feel free giving me a little something jingle for the new year, you can hit up the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. Of course, I am not sorry, I'm not monetized on YouTube, but anything you want to contribute, anything you want to give is greatly appreciated. Yes, 2023. Thank you, Cece. Hashtag 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, put hashtag 2023. I got to ask you all, what are your New Year's resolutions? That's actually the question that I'm asking for you all today on my channel. So I'm asking, doing a Q&A. What are your New Year's resolutions for 2024? Now, don't be saying some stuff about you're going to lose weight and you're 215 pounds already, and you've been the same weight since last year when you started and he said this shit. Come on, be realistic. Keep your big ass. Your ass ain't changing. But it is New Year's Eve, and of course, it is a time to be optimistic. I'm in, of course, the Central Time Zone. So if you're in New York, Cece, I don't know where you're from exactly. Aren't you? I know you're from the. Are you from the States? I'm gonna make sure everybody hits that like, share, and subscribe button, guys. I had to come on early rather than coming on later because I knew I was gonna be busy. I got a few people coming over, some family who's gonna spend some time with me. Florida. So New Year's is coming an hour before me. So New Year's is going to hit you first. Happy New Year's to you. The crazy state. Oh, yeah. A lot has happened in 2023. And I'm going over my top 10 topics of 2023. Now, some of you may agree with it. Some of you may disagree. But I wanted to go ahead and go over this stuff because I thought these was important to actually go through this. So, and I have some honorable and dishonorable mentions for those that didn't make it. But we're going to go ahead and get started, ladies and gentlemen, because I got some places to run. But also, if you would like to support me, why don't you buy? It's still the Christmas season. Yeah, Christmas is every day, ladies and gentlemen. Get Be My Baby for Christmas right now on iTunes, ladies and gentlemen, if you love to support. Also, you can Gotta Get On Up, which is on iTunes as well. Shout out to UCC. You're the only one I see so far. I don't even see Danielle, and Danielle is always on here. And we're going to go ahead and get started, ladies and gentlemen. So Sorry, I got different stuff looking up here. I was trying to close. We're closing out 2023 with a bang. So let's go ahead and get it started with number 10, Joe Biden's woes. Now, President Biden, as he is approaching his final year of his 4 year term, his one term, 4 years of President of the United States, he has actually hit an all-time low. Now we know Biden's been in the news all year. Of course, he's the president, but of course, he's had a lot to deal with. For instance, his son Hunter Biden had been indicted by the federal government for income tax evasion, as well as uh, weapons charges. He's also had issues with his laptop. The Republican Congress has actually tried to get impeachment uh, progress or an impeachment process started against the president. But most in particular, ladies and gentlemen, his approval rating is at an all-time low. According to Newsweek, President Joe Biden is heading into election with an increasingly low approval rating, adding to rising concerns about whether the Democrat will be able to get a second term in the White House. His approval rating has, according to Newsweek, has been below 50%, showing that more people are unhappy with his job as president than happy for more than 2 years now, with voters expressing issues with his handling of key issues such as the economy, immigration, and foreign policy. Now, Biden's record approval ratings low uh, around it started in the mid 50s for the majority of his first year of office. However, Biden was criticized for the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021, where more than 180 people, including 13 U.S. personnel, were killed in a suicide bombing at Kabul airport. According to 538's live average poll tracker, Biden has a net approval rating of disapproval rating of 16.5 points, 55.4% disapproval, and 38.9 approval. So it is at an all-time low for any president at this time. Now, you're going in there with a likely Republican challenger in Donald Trump, who, according to the Fox News report, in the Iowa caucus was leading, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, by well over a majority. If it was damn near 70%, I could have sworn that I saw that Donald Trump's approval rating was going up. So you have that, and you have Hunter Biden being indicted, which didn't sit well with a lot of people, as well as the issues, remember, with his laptop, and Biden being accused of different things, especially protecting his son. Some people have accused him, especially with that deal with the Ukraine, using his status as vice president. Judge Joe Brown has even talked about it to foster a deal for the United States, which would be illegal. Now, it's all been alleged, of course, it hasn't officially been proven, but these are some of the biggest things that the president has had to deal with. And I don't know if Joe Biden actually is a strong candidate. I don't believe he is. He will be strong enough to beat Donald Trump in the 2024 election. And there's no way that, despite his flaws, despite his rhetoric that he approached, that the Republicans will be willing to pass up a candidate that most people, American people, seem to be supporting right now, especially given the migrant crisis that's happening in Chicago, in New Orleans, in Miami and Houston, New York in particular, as well, ladies and gentlemen. So we have all of that going on. Now, that's it. Now, the other topic. So we're going into the ninth topic. I wanted to talk about this. Now, you may be shocked that I'm bringing this up, but I have to mention this because I'm also a comic book fan. I have been a fan, especially of Marvel and DC at one point, but the fall of the DC universe. Now, of course, the Batman series with Christopher Nolan really brought back the Batman franchise. I mean, uh, you had someone like God, who was the actor who played? I must be getting old because there's no way I should be forgetting stuff like this. Christian Bale, DC Comics, if you all remember, they really came back in 2005 with Christian Bale. And of course, subsequent after that, when he didn't come back, and of course, they were doing The Man of Steel in 2013 with Henry Cavill, who played, I thought, did an excellent job as Superman, Clark Kent. Subsequent to that, DC started the franchise. I think in 2016, they had the Justice League, which was directed by Zack Snyder. They brought in Gal Gadot. They had Ben Affleck play Batman. Jason Momoa, who has played Aquaman. Also, the brother who played Cyborg, who complained about being mistreated by DC. In particular, I think it was Josh, I don't want to say something false, but the brother who played Cyborg, Ray Fisher, remember, he was actually set to be Cyborg and was Cyborg, but it got kicked out. So DC, was it Josh Whedon who was giving him trouble? Well, Josh Whedon, yeah, he accused him of being abusive and unprofessional. And Josh Whedon is actually, that's been reported even in his time with the WB. But DC Comics, especially, and I'm getting somewhere, you also had The Flash, which came out, which was a box office disappointment. The Flash, of course, starring that Ezra Miller, the sociopath who has gone on a rampage, breaking into people's houses, doing all types of stuff, assaulting women, harassment, a bunch of things, and even being accused of grooming, apparently. But nevertheless, his film was he was still allowed to finish The Flash, which is said to be a part of the end of the DC era. And DC announced, of course, I believe it was in last year, that it would be taken over by James Gunn, who subsequently scrapped everything. I mean, you had Black Adam with The Rock, which did had a very decent showing at the box office, but did not meet, I guess, expectations of DC. But I believe DC was the one that ruined all of that. You also had The Flash, which came out, which grossed $270 million against a $200 to $220 million budget. Now, of course, that is I guess you could say a profit, but in a sense, it was a disappointment due to the fact that most of these films, especially when they're high price and they're over budget and they're at $200 and $200 million, excuse me, you expect these films to make and bring in at least $1 billion at best, because that standard was set by the Avengers Endgame and the Avengers Infinity War, those movies, as well as Black Panther for Marvel, which have guaranteed at least $1 billion turnover. Of course, the Marvels movie that came out this year didn't do that, which may show overall a decline in Marvel comics, people getting too much of the comic universe that's been forced down their throats in the last 13 years, where 15 years actually, starting with Iron Man in 2008. Now, I could add Marvel to this, but I didn't, and I guess you could, but say the fall of DC Marvel, but Marvel still has a little bit life left with some things that they are doing, and the Marvels actually made $205 million against a $274 million budget. That's gross. So it was a bomb. But yeah, so we're watching, basically, I should call this a cosmic schlop rather than the fall of DC. I would say a comic schlop. But that is what I think, especially these was some big news, because this is what's been dominating the movies. Now, let's talk about something else that has been dominating films. We go to our eighth topic, ladies and gentlemen, the concert films that have been crushing the audience right now, that has been crushing the box office, I should say. According to, we have movies and films that have come out. You had Taylor Swift's, now I'm not a Swiftie by no means, but Beyonce and Taylor Swift have had their concert films come out in 2023. In particular, Beyonce's film Renaissance which is a 2 hour and 48-minute concert film, grossed $42.9 million globally at the box office. This was directed by Beyonce herself. People may be wondering, Gavin, why are you talking about this? Is this really top 10? Well, I thought it was interesting. And I'm bringing that in, but I'm also, so that's Beyonce's, there's just a Wikipedia page on it. And it's been it was released back in November of this year. And before that, of course, you also had Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour, this concert film that has come out. And apparently that has grossed over $250 million. Now, I'm bringing these up for a reason. Recently, and I guess we'll get to it when we tie into the other topics that I have later, the situation, of course, uh, with Taylor Swift, they're calling her, you've had people trying to call her the greatest entertainer of all time. They say the Eras Tours is the highest grossing concert film of all time and the 10th highest grossing film of the year domestically in the United States. So a concert film, ladies and gentlemen, that was only shot on a budget of between 10 to $20 million has grossed over 15 times its budget or more, which I find interesting. Now, they try to say that Taylor Swift is better than Michael Jackson. We know that's just fan talk. That's crazy. That's not even fan talk. That's nuts. And of course, they use this, and especially people like Andrew Schultz, who actually had to say, he actually said that shit on MTV, that Taylor Swift was a better entertainer than Michael. I couldn't believe they let him get away with that shit. But nevertheless, Taylor Swift has a one of the highest grossing films, concert films of all time. And unfortunately, her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, is not having a great year as a result. Hey, it's the Swiftie curse. And according to this, Taylor Swift is spending New Year's Eve with the Chiefs. So we know the Chiefs will not be in the playoffs as a result. I'm just messing with y'all. Swifties, don't come after me. You're going to cancel me. All right. Now, something that did crush in the summer box office this year. Now, COVID-19 has impacted the movie theaters. Nobody thought that the movies would be coming back, but Barbenheimer, which is they call a cultural phenomenon, which was basically about the two films, Barbie and Oppenheimer, which were released in July of this year. Both films received critical acclaim and exceeded box office expectations. Their joint opening weekend was the fourth largest at the box office, and both films ranked among the highest grossing of 2023. So Barbie grossed over $1.4 billion. Of course, the film was about the famous Barbie dolls. And Oppenheimer, which was a bio on the life of the man who invented the nuclear bomb, Oppenheimer, grossed nearly $1 billion. It grossed $955,233,757. So Oppenheimer has been released to critical acclaim. And, excuse me. So Oppenheimer and Barbie, I'm grateful my lady did not take me to see Barbie. She's not really interested in that. But Oppenheimer, of course, was another 3 hour film. I would just rather wait till it came out on television. But I even heard Barbie, they made the men, my little cousins were telling me about it. They made the men look like a bunch of idiots in the film. So I was not interested in seeing it. And Super Mario Brothers, of course, we did see this back in April. Actually, this film grossed over a billion. This was a good film. I enjoyed Super Mario, so I would encourage people to see that. But yeah, and of course, 2023 in film, so it was big for Warner Brothers, Disney also because this is their 100th anniversary, and you also I could give special attention to The Little Mermaid. Now, this film, while it was shot on a reported budget of nearly 300 million, it says 297. It grossed 569 million dollars, and was in the top 10. It was ranked number 9. It's one of the highest grossing films of 2023. Of course, probably would have been more, but we know the reason why they wouldn't give it to The Little Mermaid was because they made Ariel a black girl, which didn't sit well with a lot of people. Let's just call them white. But that was number 8. So the concert films that have been dominating in movies, and we had Barbenheimer, which is number 7. Now, number 6, ladies and gentlemen, maybe this could have been higher. If you disagree, you can say something in the chat. Demar Hamlin's cardiac arrest on Monday Night Football. Now, who of you all remember, or maybe if you followed football, that this was a game that was played between the Chiefs and the Bengals on Monday night? I'm sorry, I said the Chiefs. It was the Bengals and the Bills because Demar Hamlin I believe he was on special teams for the Bills, but he was also playing defense. And sadly and unfortunately, after he took a hit, he was playing defense. I think he was playing a safety. And I want to show the video. Of course, it is sad to see, but Demar Hamlin actually it's up and sadly just collapsed for no reason. Yeah. Demar Hamlin collapsed for this reason, which was a very scary moment on Monday Night Football. The only time and the first time I've ever seen the NFL actually cancel a game, period. They actually postponed this game. And of course, the aftermath of it, you had Skip, as Shannon Sharp would say, Skip Bayless. It's nothing be about your tweet. Skip Bayless went out, and this was in January of this year, and talked about how this game, while he felt so sorry for this man, but how can the NFL consider postponing this game of such magnitude? And it didn't go over for a lot of people. They called for Skip to be fired from Fox Sports, but he was not fired. He says, no doubt the NFL is considering, so this was the tweet. And so Skip, so that's Demar Hamlin making the tackle. And then he collapses. But then we have, the Bills players, the coach Sean McDermott coming out on the field. The Bengals players were even coming out. They were concerned. But then we had Skip Bayless's tweet. And Skip said, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. And to the point that now that was Sauce Gardner, who's a cornerback, who said that. And Des Bryant tweeted, we need to cancel Skip Bayless ASAP. Isaiah Thomas even wrote, I hope they fire you, bro. For you to even think of the game is very sad. Terrell Owens even reposted Bayless's tweet to his Instagram, and T.O. has gone back and forth with Skip Bayless because remember, he was the reason or part of relieves that from his first year of eligibility, calling him Team Obliterator. But then we have Hall of Fame, and so he said it's the most despicable tweet ever, saying, I hope you lost your job. Matt Barnes even went in and said somebody's going to slap the beep out of Skip one of these days. And Skip apologized on the show, but it was not good enough to the point where even brother Shannon Sharp, Shannon Sharp said, "This shouldn't be about your tweet." I can't even get into it. Let's look at this. This was the big thing for me.
And there's something you want to share this morning.
Good morning. Yes.
Morning.
There's been a lot of speculation of why I wasn't on air yesterday, and I won't get into speculation or conjecture, innuendo, but I will say this. In watching that game on Monday night, what happened to Demar Hamlin struck me a little different, with a regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, hopefully Skip would take it down. But I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead. Let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
Well,
you could have came back, Skip.
Well, I thought
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up.
No, I was just going to say, Skip. I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where Demar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No, clearly the bosses wanted you to offer explanation. So clearly, somebody.
No, they did not nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
Let's go, Jen.
Thoughts and prayers remain with.
And that is why.
That's where the focus should have been, and not on the football game. Yes, let's go, Jen. Thank you.
And that is why Shannon Sharp is on ESPN. But that Demar Hamlin incident was scary. But fortunately, Demar Hamlin, now the bright side of this is that Demar has made a full recovery and is back playing in the NFL. He is still playing with the Bills as a safety. So he was able to return. So that was a bit of good news. So shout out to this young brother. I'm grateful that he's back and he has made a full recovery playing again. But that was a scary incident to see. Now, talking about scary, the other sad thing we got to deal with is the death of Tyree Nichols. Tyree Nichols was a young man, of course, out in Memphis, Tennessee, who was the victim of police brutality and was killed on January 10th of this year, where he was beaten severely. We know back in, I want to say, April or March, it seemed that they released the video footage of what happened. So Desmond Mills Jr., who's one of the officers that these were 5 black police officers, by the way, who were part of this unit, the Scorpion unit, pulled Nichols from his car, pepper sprayed him, and tased him. Nichols broke free and ran towards his mom's house, which was less than a mile away. The 5 black officers caught up with Nichols near the house, where they punched, kicked him, and pepper sprayed him and struck him with a baton. Medics on the scene failed to administer care for 16 minutes after arriving, and Nichols was admitted to the hospital in critical condition. Of course, he later died from his injuries. One of the officers pled guilty. The other 4 have still yet to go to trial, but one pled guilty to federal charges of deprivation of rights and conspiracy and agreed to cooperate with the prosecutors on November 2nd of this year. The MPD has disciplined, relieved of duty, and dismissed or arrested 13 officers in total regarding their conduct, because it was more than just the 5 officers were charged, but there were 13 that were involved. Oh, excuse me. Hello? Okay, sorry about that. So this was a shocking thing to see, what happened with Tyree Nichols. Now, I'm not going to play any video footage of that incident. Of course, those officers were fired. I believe there was a lawsuit that was pending and probably still pending as a result of this. Of course, they had that George Floyd Justice in Policing Act of 2021 they tried to pass, but that never went through as a result of it. And it sparked protests all across the country from Washington, D.C. to New York to Atlanta, Georgia, San Francisco, Baltimore, New York, Newark, and Philadelphia. I believe we did even have a few in New Orleans, ladies and gentlemen. And this was out in Memphis and Shelby County. Yeah, Preston Hemphill was the white officer who was unidentified and who had stopped, who was involved in the initial traffic stop, but not in the subsequent beating of Tyree Nichols. So that happened as well. But this was a tragic incident, and it was just a reminder of the daily occurrences and what happens, especially with Black men and police officers. Now, of course, people will say, well, Gavin, it's not all officers who are like that. It doesn't have to be all officers are like that, but there is a perception, and perception sometimes is greater than reality. Not all Black men are gangsters either. And I believe this was a personal issue. Of course, more is going to come out about it, but we had heard some things involving allegedly, and I say alleged because I don't know for sure, involving supposedly one of the officers and the decedents. The officer supposedly being a jealous, the story and rumor is that he was a jealous husband that killed a lover, that his wife's lover, allegedly, is something that I had heard. Alleged, and I always use the word alleged. Even when I remember with that too, that incident was that one of the officers, I shouldn't call him a brother, was a member of Omega Psi Phi, and I remember he was even kicked out. Wasn't one of the officers kicked out because of that? Yeah. Tadarius Bean, Desmond Mills Jr., and Emmett Martin. They booted him. That's correct. Something that I don't think they rarely do at these fraternities, because they're usually all about money. A lot of it is about money. But yeah, that did happen. They kicked him out. That was in February of this year. But that is just that was a big story in 2023. Now, of course, for me, number 4, a big story when I was talking about Me Too, as well as I mentioned the concert films and Taylor Swift. I'm going to tie that in with this and that before I forget. This is why I mentioned it. But Jonathan Majors' fall from grace, a man who started his career. Jonathan Majors in 2017 got his start when he did a film called When We Rise. Now, that movie or that show was actually based off of it was basically a pro LGBT. It was about gay history essentially, and history of the homosexual movement, civil rights movement in the United States. That's how Jonathan Majors actually got his start. He played a gay character, a gay individual who was a Navy veteran. And Majors, who's 34 years old, had since that time been on a warpath in Hollywood. He gained prominence in films such as The Last Black Man in San Francisco, The Five Bloods, and he starred in Lovecraft Country, for which he received a Primetime Emmy nomination. Now, that show was only on the air for one season. But I admired Jonathan Majors. I said, this brother's going somewhere. And that show was actually produced by Jordan Peele. He was one of the producers on that. Now, yeah, when he played Atticus Freeman, Tick, yeah. And he also, of course, his big thing was becoming Kain the Conqueror from Marvel. Well, unfortunately, Jonathan Majors, as we all know, was found guilty of assaulting his girlfriend. Although, even from looking at it, the film and video footage that was released, we know that Majors had been in a back and forth with Grace Jabari, and actually she was the one, according to the evidence, that had instigated the old altercation. But of course, when the victim is white and the perpetrator is black, it doesn't matter what you did to defend yourself. She's right no matter what. And they look at what you did. And a dancer, Grace Jabari, has brought down Kain the Conqueror in an ultimate timeline to the point where he actually had to run for his freedom in his surveillance footage. Jonathan Majors was running a 4.4 in dress shoes. And he was the one that called 911 actually to get out of, to see, because when he arrived at his apartment, he found her passed out and he called 911 to help her. But yet, because of the injuries they saw, they actually called the police on him. The police arrived, the paramedics came, and because of her wounds and injuries, they decided to press charges against him. Now he's running in that video. So he was found guilty of assault, and as such, he was fired from the Marvel universe, which Disney which owns that. Quantum. He recently finished Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which was released earlier this year, and he's facing sentencing on February 6th. I felt real sorry for this brother because he had a rising career, still does. I think he can come back, although it may not be the standpoint that he wants. It might be doing TV movies. I don't know. But I did think he got railroaded in this case. And you've all seen it. I've done videos on it, Jonathan Majors. I certainly don't think he deserved that, but I feel that even his attorneys may have let him down. But Jonathan Majors, what a fall from grace for this brother, from doing Quantum Mania, Disney, having no role, securing a bag like that and losing it. I hope he can come back. I do hope he can clear his name with an appeal, but we will see. Okay, we're getting down to the top three. Now, Trump's legal woes. Of course, Donald Trump has announced that he is running for the 2024 presidential election. He is actually trying to get the White House back. And he has been hit with various legal charges here, especially in New York, in areas like New York in November. He's been charged with all criminal wrongdoing, including trying to interfere in the 2020 election. He alleged that it was a witch hunt. You have him also in various parts of the United States, including Colorado and I believe Maine and others. And even they're trying to do it in New York. They're trying to keep him out of the White House, off the ballot. So he has actually undergone a lot of woes with this. And I don't know and think that this will have a significant impact on him. We're going to keep hearing about Donald Trump, of course, in 2024. And not to mention also, he's currently on trial for civil fraud lawsuits, basically stating that he had manipulated his property on some income tax and in documents and so forth that has been brought by the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James. And she's seeking over $250 million in fines and a ban against Trump and his sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, from running businesses in New York, and a 5-year commercial real estate ban against Trump and the Trump. Also for plotting to overturn the election on some charges that were filed by special counsel Jack Smith. So all of this, ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is my humble opinion, is done to keep him off the ballot. They know that when you look at what I showed you earlier about Joe Biden's approval rating, coupled with this is more of a sense of way for the Democrats to try to secure the election for Joe Biden, because his numbers are just not there. Nobody is attending his speeches and rallies They're upset with the job situation. It's upset with the migrant situation, and it's just not hitting for them. What say you all? What do you think of Joe Biden? What do you think of Trump? These legal woes that he is going through, clearly it's affecting him. Uh, and I don't see a clear result, a cut way through end result for this. The next thing, so that was actually my number 3 topic. Now, of course, number 2, Diddy Dum Diddy Do. Ladies and gentlemen, P. Diddy, of course, that was some big news, especially even though this came late. This actually came there, I want to say in November to just around November, December, when Cassie filed a lawsuit against P. Diddy alleging, I guess you could say, harassment and abuse. And now subsequent allegations from different women are coming forward about P. Diddy. More lawsuits have been filed due to that Survivors Act that was set to expire actually around Thanksgiving, which is when Cassie and her lawyers filed this in federal court on November 16th. They subsequently settled the next day. And as a result, it has affected Diddy, his life. You know, Diddy, of course, had Revolt TV, which I don't think he actually ran it, but he was one of he was the founder of Revolt TV. He certainly created it. And it was actually, he had his stars, including one of his podcasters, his employees basically stating they refused to work for him due to the accusations. And that's the thing. These are just accusations. They haven't been proven in court. Now, some people say, well, he settled. A settlement in and of itself, and I've always said this is not an admission of guilt, but people settle all the times because they just want to get something resolved. They don't want to go to trial. They don't want to go take the chance of gambling their freedom. So, Diddy Dum Diddy Do. Diddy Do Do. Diddy Do Wah Diddy. Diddy Dum Diddy Do Do. Thank you, CC. He poo-pooed. I learned for the first time what Astroglide is, guys, and trust me, it's not an at-home water slippy slide like we grew up in the 90s. I had to Google what it was in that petition, but Diddy, according to it, basically it looks like Miss Ventura sued him for freaky stuff that she happened to not want to be a part of, although she stayed with him for 12 years of their life. But hey, it is what it is. But Diddy settled the suit was settled. Although I don't think Diddy settled it. I think the insurance company and the agent settled it. But hey, this is what happened. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do an honorable mention and dishonorable. I'm going to start with honorable. Person we lost, Miss Tina Turner, the queen of rock and roll. Tina Turner, although I know Judge Joe Brown doesn't like her with her punk ass, Tina was a dirty one. She was, oh damn. Tina was foul. She was cursing and she beat up Ike. She was the one slapping his ass around. We lost Anna Mae Bullock, Tina Turner, this past May due to a lengthy illness. Apparently, Miss Turner had issues with her kidneys, and she passed away to an illness at the age of 83 years old. Of course, in the aftermath of her death, several people tweeted and said things in mourning her loss, from Mariah Carey to Beyonce to Dolly Parton and Diana Ross, Gloria Gaynor, Lionel Richie, Elton John, and others. So a lot of people paid tribute to her. Patti LaBelle also did a rendition of her song "Simply the Best" for her. Now, if I could just get back though, since I forgot, I was mentioning Jonathan Majors, and I mentioned this also with Me Too, and I guess tying it in with Diddy. Now, Jermaine Jackson, yes, I saw that earlier this past Friday, was being sued for sexual assault from 1988 in California court. Now, I mentioned that, and I mentioned Michael Jackson because earlier with Taylor Swift is because I believe there is an attack on the Jackson family, my humble opinion. I think that there is certainly plans to go after them, and so they're attacking members of the Jackson family. But Jermaine has always been, according to what I've read and seen, he's been the main one publicly defending his brother. I remember him on Pierce Morgan on other late night shows when they did that surviving, never leaving Neverland, never dealt with. Yeah, and they supposedly threw Barry Gordy in it. I've heard that too. No black man leaves this business clean, ladies and gentlemen. Barry Gordy is 94 years old, and he's getting dragged into something that I don't even know think what happened. Nobody is clean. Now I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later, for a later date. But honorable mention, going back to Tina Turner, may she rest in peace. Of course, now I got to do a dishonorable mention. Carolyn Bryant, you troll. Carolyn Bryant Dunham, as we know, croaked back in May of this year, where she was living in a hospice care somewhere in Louisiana. Westlake, Louisiana, I believe, was in Calcasieu Parish. That is St. Charles. She's dead at the age of 88. And on Thursday, Megan LaBeouf sent a statement confirming the death. Now, we know Carolyn Bryant Dunham was the woman who accused Emmett Till of whistling at her, which led to Emmett's unfortunate premature murder. I shouldn't say premature death, excuse me. It led to, this wasn't a natural death. This was a torture. This was a torture beating of a 14-year-old boy because of her lies. Mamie Till Mobley never got the peace that she solved, never saw justice. She will never have grandchildren and descendants because of her. And Carolyn Bryant Dunham passed. You know, I don't celebrate death of anybody naturally, but I didn't blink an eye. I didn't cry a tear. I didn't do anything. I just know and hope that if there is a God on the other side and there's a heaven, if she didn't repent from this, I know likely she's not there. And I clearly don't believe she repented because she kept telling the same lie even over in her advanced age as to what happened, saying, and they kept changing the story back and forth. Well, he didn't whistle at me. He didn't deserve this. I didn't know they were going to do all of that. But no, he assaulted me. She made herself the victim. So I don't see her any repentance from this. But the administration protected her. State of Mississippi protected her, and the federal government protected her because they wouldn't bring charges, civil rights charges against her. Not that I was surprised by it. I wasn't. But that's the point of all of this. So Carolyn Bryant bites the dust. Dishonorable mention. Rest in peace. Last thing, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta have this at number one. It's gotta be this one. It is the Montgomery Brawl fight, ladies and gentlemen. And they say black people don't love the water. We love the water. We don't touch people in the water. So we know this incident occurred that sparked millions of memes, sparked a rap song. It actually sparked the interest in self-defense classes against a lot of people, and also an interest among us into WWE wrestling again, especially the Raw edition, the TV 14 edition of Raw.
Confrontation.
fight that changed it all. The brawl for it all, ladies and gentlemen. My brother. Now, we see, we think that they're all gaining up on him. You see New World Order gaining up on Diamond Dallas Page. But here comes Sting. Here comes Luther. Here comes the Giant. They're all going to step in a little bit and come to this brother's aid. Of course, moments to follow with this. Brother was fed up. And then we seen more of the brawl. This, of course, is the best part. They all came. They came from Owen. They came from Compton. They came from the lower 9. They came from the 5th Ward. Shout out Houston. And they came on time. They came with cans. They came with shoes. They came with all kids said, Whitey, you gotta pay some dues. Get him.
She whooped her ass. She finna put her in the water. In the water. Cause y'all were wrong.
Get him. This was number 1 for me. Of course, there were arrests that were
Story
made.
that's gone viral this week. We're hearing from the co-captain of the Harriet II River.
But of
And
course,
the
this
fifth
was the big
suspect
one.
has been arrested in the Montgomery
Yeah,
Riverfront
Reggie
brawl.
Ray.
Reggie Ray is charged with disorderly conduct for reportedly wielding a chair during that brawl. And today, the riverboat captain, whose boat witnessed the viral brawl in Montgomery, is speaking out on the suspects involved. This comes after one of the suspects, Mary Todd, turned herself into the police department today. She joined suspects Alan Todd, Zachary Shipman, and Richard Roberts, who all turned themselves in as well, according to AL.com. Captain Jim Cottrell says that the group has caused trouble before, such as parking in the wrong spot, which is what caused this brawl. Multiple times in the past, he also recalled a time where the group allegedly stole his boat's golf cart and left it in a hotel lobby.
Of course,
For Hype Plus News, I'm John Alba.
we owe this young brother a gratitude. This was the one who swam in the river to go to his friend. You see him swimming right here? That young man, Aaron Rudolph. He is the hero of the day and number 1 in my book. Ladies and gentlemen, the Montgomery Brawl. I was saying that like a kid. Lift every chair and swing. Yes. I was doing a poem just like it was The Grinch That Stole Christmas. They came from everywhere. They came from the mall. They came out with chairs swinging at the Montgomery Brawl. Something Muhammad Ali would say. They came for them. They came for all of them. Because I'm the greatest of all times. Dr. King said, let freedom ring. But now I say, let a chair swing. Let a chair swing all the way from the east of Mecca. Let a chair swing when it's made, especially by Black and Decker. Let a chair swing on a man's head, especially if he's white and racist. Swing so you know at least you won't knock him till he's dead. We're going to knock him out like I took him. It's going to be great. I'm going to knock him out like I took Foreman in 8. Oh man, they popping fireworks back here now, so it's getting time. It's getting late, but that is, ladies and gentlemen, my top 10 of 2023. The Montgomery Brawl was number one, and if you agree or disagree with the list, I don't care. But go ahead and put something in the description telling me why you disagree with it. But we're gonna get out of here. I just want to wish everybody a very happy new year. May 2024 be the best for you. Is 2023 has been a great year for me. I've had a lot go on professionally and privately. I can't complain about. I've been blessed in some situations. I'm still here. I consider myself blessed, and I'm thankful for you all for being a part of that journey. Danielle Meyer, my girl Danielle, Cece, One Who Cares, Cheryl Massey. Thank you for her contributions. I'm grateful to Queen Amadaya Shakur, Judge Joe Brown. Also, the two guests that I've had. I interviewed Taj Jackson, which was big for me, of the Jacksons family. That was huge. And also having Andrew Wyatt, brother Andrew Wyatt, come on my channel again. I'm grateful to all of my guests. Sean James, I got to give Sean a shout out. He's come rocked with me practically every Thursday. My family, great. It's been great. My lovely fiance Tanisha, which was big because in March we had gotten engaged. So that was a big thing, probably the biggest thing I had. So I'm grateful for that. Darius from Atlanta. Where is Darius? I have no idea where Darius is, but I appreciate you. Thank you, One Who Cares. Thank you, Cece. I appreciate it. Thank you. So I gotta get ready to leave, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but thank you. Thank you, CC. I appreciate it. Put something on the dowry. Uh yeah. I don't know when and I don't know where, but when I get here, I'm gonna put some money on your ass. See? Yeah. Y'all don't know. I appreciate you too, Danielle. So I gotta get ready. I gotta get dressed, y'all. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, superstar Bella. And by the way, there are things and changes that are going to be coming to this channel, especially. And we've been fighting certain things with YouTube, but we're not going out without a fight. So let me get up out of here. I gotta get dressed, ladies and gentlemen. But it's been a great 2023, and we wait for 2024 and more to come. So happy New Year to you all. We will see y'all in 2024. God says the same. This has been the top 10 topics of 2023, ladies and gentlemen. Be one, be safe, and be blessed. I'll holla. Peace.